Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. Take what you can from this morning's podcast and transform your day by being spiritually and positively motivated. How do you know if something is missing if you can't see it when it's there? If you were in a hot air balloon floating high over the earth, you wouldn't be able to see if part of the air were missing and there was a hole in it, so to speak, would you? And so your balloon might fall when it got to the hole, and you wouldn't be able to breathe until the balloon fell out of that hole in the air and you were back in air. I'm sure you're wondering what happened to my grip on reality, but I assure you my grip is fine. I know that sounded ridiculous. Of course, there aren't holes in the air, at least as far as any of us know, but then how would we know? We can assume that other air would fill it in. You know what else you can't see? Your spiritual well-being. Different from air, it is possible to have holes in your spiritual well-being. Fatigue, psychic attacks from other people, broken dreams, and such work holes into one's spiritual well-being. Similar to a theoretical hole in the air, other stuff would fill it in, but it gets filled in with the opposite of well-being. You can't see your spiritual well-being, so how would you know when some of it is missing? Somebody jumps all over you and leaves you feeling terribly upset. You work through your hurt, talk to people about it, and do the best you can and probably decide you will just suck it up and try to get over it. Or you have an emotional loss. Or you get bad news from a doctor. Or you are struggling with things with your kids or your aging parents or a sibling or a significant other to the point that it drains your spirit. Any and all of those things can put a hole in your wholeness, your well-being, that you can't physically see. You might think that you're just tired or cranky or maybe depressed. You might even feel kind of suffocated, like you might if you fell into a hole in the air. You can feel it. A hole in one's spiritual well-being can be felt but often misunderstood as merely physical. You don't realize you're still affected by the spiritual and emotional and mental damage that you experienced days or weeks or even years ago. There are holes in your air that you can't see. Staying attuned to God's Spirit brings the discernment to recognize there are holes in your spiritual well-being. Filling them back in requires time apart, alone, meditating and praying to let the energy of the universe fill those holes back in with the Spirit that was once there. You can also fill them by praying with other people and letting them pray for you and on you. Life is not a solo trip, and being spiritually healthy is not only a do-it-yourself project. How many of your friends are your spiritual friends? Do you talk about what they believe and what you believe? Do you pray or meditate or do yoga together? Some sort of a spiritually oriented thing to do? Do you have at least one friend who will listen about the holes in your well-being and not try to fix you, but just listen, and then pray in some way for those holes to be healed by Spirit? If not, I would recommend you work on that, because not having at least one person like that could be one of your holes. One thing I would like to see happen is for spiritual community to happen in the Motivational Devotional Facebook page. It would be a great place for you to start building those kinds of friendships. Being with people who truly feed your spirit is irreplaceable. No matter how you may be hurting inside, be at peace and trust that all of creation is conspiring in your favor. It really is. Trust that the universe always has your back and is working to fill the holes in your air right now. Frederick Buechner said, "Pay mind to your own life, your own health and wholeness. A bleeding heart is of no help to anyone if it bleeds to death." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @ThreefoldWay Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support And thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.